How you doing?
Well,
A couple. I'm on my way to a meeting.
Tom, since you came back into the White House, do you use Signal or any other encrypted apps to communicate with administration officials?
I got no comment on that.
Sir, are you concerned that the English language social media posts pushing immigrants to use the CBP Home app aren't reaching a predominantly Spanish language speaking population?
Working on that right now.
What do you mean you're working on it?
You're going to see more Spanish language notices going out.
Okay. At the rate you're going, what do you think your deportation target number is going to be for the year?
I have no idea. It depends what kind of money we have. We need Congress to fund this mandate for the American people, because with more money we can do more. We need to buy more beds, we need more airplane flights, we need more officers on the ground, we need more contracts with companies that can do a lot of work that doesn't require a badge and gun. So the more money we have from Congress, the more successful we'll be on the ground.
What's your estimate on how many people have been self-deported so far?
Actually, hopefully we'll have that number by Friday. We asked for that number yesterday. I'm waiting on it. I can tell you, I looked at the numbers this morning. As far as interior arrests, we're at about 44,000, just shy of 44,000 arrests in the interior, which are by far more than the Biden administration did in the interior. And let me address one thing. I keep reading this. We're deporting less people than Joe Biden. Let's remember, Joe Biden was counting Border Patrol removals on the border, where millions of people are coming across. You can't compare our removal numbers to them. First of all, he was fudging numbers, adding border removals to ICE removals. And second of all, you got millions of people crossing the border, and Border Patrol were bouncing some of them back. We secure the border. We're down border crossing 96%, so we don't have millions of people coming across the border. Just compare our removal numbers to his is just ridiculous. We could remove 100% of our people, and he could remove 10% of his people. The number's still going to be higher because we're talking about millions of people coming across. The question that people should be asking, how many did the Trump administration release compared to the Biden administration? We're at about 0, and they're at millions. So that's the difference. And so I'm reading the story about deportation numbers are lower than Biden's. It's fake news. It's not comparing apples to apples. Compare the interior enforcement arrests, interior enforcement removals to the last administration, and there we see the real difference.
Do you expect IRS to begin sharing data on potential undocumented migrants in this country?
Well, I'll tell you this, illegal aliens use American Social Security numbers. Together with identity theft, we're looking to protect Social Security. We're looking out to protect United States citizens' identity and their benefits with Social Security. I've done this for a long time. Illegal aliens many times use Social Security numbers, U.S. citizens. It causes a lot of problems. Just identity theft. Even my own family. One of my closest relatives had his ID stolen, his Social Security number stolen. So we're going to look out for the American people. We're going to protect Social Security.
But do you expect them to share? Do you expect IRS to share?
I hope so. I think again, to protect American citizens, their Social Security benefits, protect their identity from being stolen. That's one way we can do it.
What would you say to families of some of the individuals deported who say that they do not have affiliations to gangs, to TdA? Are you going to provide more details about?
Look, I'm not aware. I didn't drill into every one on that plane. We left it up to ICE. The highest officials at ICE have said that they are confident that every one of the Venezuelans on those planes are a member of TdA. And everybody's, how do you know? Look, a lot of this stuff is law enforcement sensitive. I'm not going to share a lot of this stuff with you because we certainly don't want to show how we do our inside work, because that's going to just help the criminals out there once they read it. But I can tell you hundreds and hundreds of hours were spent on investigations, whether it's looking at their criminal history, whether it's looking at immigration history, whether looking at undercover videos, whether it's talking to informants, whether it's talking to other members of the gang who gave sworn statements. There's a lot of ways that this was done. A lot of time was spent doing this. Again, and I got assurances from the highest levels of ICE that this was done right, and everybody in that plane, Venezuelans, were TdAs. And I got to remember, first of all, let's remember one thing. First of all, everyone on that plane was an illegal alien in the country illegally. Number two, many in that plane were removed with Title 8. They already had to remove it from an immigration judge. And again, we're talking about terrorists. TdA and MS-13 was on the plane. They've been designated terrorist organizations. These are not good people. So I trust the men and women at ICE that they did the right thing, and I stand by it.
How much focus right now is the administration putting on those who have committed crimes versus those who have not committed crimes, who are immigrants in the United States?
I didn't hear that question.
How much focus is the administration putting on those who have committed crimes versus those who have not committed crimes?
Well, the prioritization is those who are public safety threats and national security threats. And let me share it with you, because we just did an operation in Boston, 370 apprehensions. Most of them were criminals, but many were collaterals. Majority of criminals. How come the collaterals? I've said this 1,000 times. Sanctuary cities are going to get exactly what they don't want. More agents in the community and more collateral arrests. Why? Because if we can't get access to the bad guy in the county jail, if they're going to choose to release him in the public, which is just, releasing a public safety threat in the public is just, it's just dumb to begin with, because it puts the public safety at risk, right? But when you release that public safety threat back in the public, that means we got to go find him. When we find him, most likely he's with others. And if they're in the country illegally, they're coming too. Because we're not going to tell ICE to ignore the oath that you took to enforce immigration law and walk away from illegal alien like the last administration does. So if you want to force us in the communities, fine, we'll go. But collateral arrests will increase because we're going to run into illegal aliens while we're in the course of looking for those targets. So again, you want to decrease the collateral arrests, you want to decrease the non-criminals, and let us in the damn jail.
You said many are collateral. Can you put a number to that, a percentage?
I don't have the number. I can tell you the majority were criminals, like criminal histories. And we got to remember, we arrested, I think there were 4 people, convictions for murder, homicide. We arrested child sex predators. We arrested drug traffickers and gun traffickers. We seized guns. We seized drugs. That's the great thing about President Trump, is all the government approach. It's a game changer. Because when we do these operations, we find an illegal alien with narcotics, DEA's right there to prosecute the case. We find the guns, ATF's right there to prosecute the gun cases. And of course, ICE will continue to prosecute re-entries after removal. So we get a lot of prosecutions out of these operations. Again, the reason why we focus on sanctuary cities is because they're the most dangerous places, because they release public safety threats back into the public. We're a cooperating jurisdiction. We don't have that much of a concern or that big a target of criminal aliens walking the streets. President Trump has made a commitment to American people. We're going to decrease illegal alien crime in the city. We're going to concentrate on public safety threats and national security threats. The data proves what we're doing. We're going to keep President Trump's promise to American people. He was given the mandate to do this. Number 1 issue, secure the border and deal with the illegal alien crime in this country, and that's exactly what we're doing.
What's your reaction?